Hello, dear one. This video is an accompaniment to issue number 9 of Embodied Everything, the newsletter that I send out once a month to provide support for your leadership journey. And this month, I couldn't tear my eyes away from what's going on in our world. We know that at any given time, there are a number of atrocities being committed and conflicts raging. And so I don't mean to overlook that fact that there's always violence in the world, that we may or may not have a personal connection to, but that we, in some human way, can feel if we tap into that deeper sense of aliveness that we all share. But this conflict in the Middle East right now is ringing so loudly throughout our communities, and I think causing a special kind of turmoil within the US and around the world. So that's what the newsletter this month is addressing, is how do we connect, stay connected, reconnect to ourselves, to what we're feeling, to what connects us to one another, the essence of our humanity, and take the time to tap into that and care for that and engage that, but not to allow some kind of personal practice or embodiment practice or spiritual practice that is individual focused to encourage us to spiritually bypass or sit back and take a neutral stance. So this video is for you if you need support in contacting your humanity, your core of self, as a way to take swift and decisive justice-oriented action, to find that support from within, to take the action you're being called to take toward justice, not to burn out, and to feel courageous enough to repeatedly show up for those actions. So I want to ask you to place one hand on your heart and one hand on your low back or sacrum in the back. And I have my hand facing this way, so my back is coming into contact with the back of my left hand. And wherever you are, I just invite you to simply pause and allow the warmth and weight of your hands to invite a melting sensation in each of those energy centers. Next, I want you to begin to sense your breath. So we're not trying to change it, manipulate it in any way, but we're simply observing how it's moving and allowing it to come and go on its own as we feel into our hands. Now, as you watch your breath moving, and my breath just shifted, I was observing it and it naturally deepened itself because that's what it needed to do. As you watch your breath make little shifts and adjustments naturally, I want you to begin to sway side to side, just very gently, letting the sensation of your hands on your body guide you as you breathe into this side flexion of your spine as it's swaying. And if the hand on the back is uncomfortable, you can put it on your belly. My arm was starting to get a bit tired, so I'm making that adjustment for myself. So continue to sway, feeling your hands on your body, sensing your breath. And as you're ready, you can now let your hands drop down to rest gently on the tops of your legs, continuing this natural sway side to side as if you're just a piece of seaweed in the water. And as you're ready, you can come back to center and now begin to move your torso in circles. So originating from the base of the spine, You're going to lean onto one sit bone, lean forward, lean to the side, and then arching the spine forward, going back onto the tailbone. So grinding that spine in a circular motion, letting it rotate, letting your guts soften. If you're not sitting, you can do this by isolating the spine and standing and really getting into the legs and the arms as well. But if you're sitting, I want you to really feel those sit bones pressing into the chair and your feet pressing into the floor as you rotate. Then you can try going in the other direction. I want you to keep this going until you reach a natural stopping place. So just keep exploring, feeling how the breath is getting involved in the movement here, perhaps starting to feel a little bit of opening and expansion through the hip sockets, making sure to keep some nice opening through the jaw where we hold a lot of tension. And as you're ready, you can come to stillness on center. Hands are resting gently in the lap. And if you're not already, you can close your eyes and just allow yourself to resonate with the sensations that you're experiencing. So not what am I thinking or even what am I feeling in the emotional space, but what are the sensations, the literal physical sensations that I can feel. I can feel my hands on my legs. I can feel my legs a little tingly, a little more awake, perhaps than they were before my movement. I can feel warmth in my belly. So this might not be the same for you, but seeing if we can name those sensations just very simply. So we're not doing broad strokes naming like tired, calm, stiff, but really getting into more subtle nuances of experiencing like warm, solid, tingly. And as you trace through those sensations in the body and start to identify them, where in the body do we feel okay? Where in the body do we feel maybe even a little good? And see if we can go towards that space and rest there. So even in a moment of pain and violence and confusion and grief, can we access in the body a little okayness or maybe even a little bit of pleasure? And when we've touched that, just very simply, I want to invite you to drop in the question, in this moment, what am I being called to do? What am I being called to do? Perhaps there's an action you've been wanting to take but putting off. Or perhaps you've taken an action and you know you want to repeat it, but you haven't had the motivation to make it happen. So ask the question again, in this moment of violence and unrest, what am I being called to do? Really tapping into the quiet core of yourself. And the answer could show up in a lot of different ways. So let yourself receive it and let yourself receive the first answer that comes. So sit with that answer as much as you can without judgment or fear. Let it just be objective. And then I'll invite you to slowly bat your eyelids open. And I want you either now or when this video ends to take pen to paper and write down the answer you received. If the answer didn't come to you in the form of an action, maybe there's a suggestion in the answer that can lead you to a concrete action that would make sense, that would align with where you're at. And if you're at a loss for how to take action and you'd like to contribute to the effort to promote peace and well-being and to stop the killing. There's a link right below this video and also in the email I sent out with the newsletter that directly connects you to your representatives to demand a ceasefire in Gaza and a return of the hostages. So I just want to thank you for practicing with me today. Invite us to take one deep breath together. And remind you to take good care of yourself so that you can speak truth to power. And if you'd like to join me in a supportive space where we can practice embodiment to find support for difficult conversations and activism, you can click the link for our monthly free embodiment drop-in. The next one is happening November 6th. It's a Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern. And we'll just gather, do some work like this, and we'll have a little bit of dialogue and discussion about what's coming up for us in this moment, how our leadership is being impacted, how we're looking to intentionally communicate in this time, and also just receive the support of embodied community and an opportunity to breathe together. So I really hope that you'll join us for that. Again, it's Monday, November 6th. There's a link below to register, and there's also a link in the email newsletter. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're taking good care of yourself, and I'm sending you lots of love. See you next time.